Hello, everybody. We are live. It is Wednesday, the 3rd of September, and we are continuing, of course, with our story Wand, which I had a thought the other day. And you can probably see it in the title. It's down there. Am I right, Romantasy? You know, romance, fantasy. It's a bit of a sad romantasy, really. But, you know, I might be. And it's great. I just thought it was a fun... I thought it was a fun thought. I never really thought that it was actually what I was doing. I sort of just had this story in my head that... You know, I want to get down on paper. But, you know, it is about love. It's about unreciprocated love. It's about this guy who cannot stay where he's most comfortable. And one of the reasons being that he loves this woman so much that he has to get away from her. Because she's chosen someone else. And that's pretty much romantasy. I mean, it's not... Like I said, it's sad romantasy. That's pretty much sad romantasy. And I just thought that was funny. So that's why I put it in the title. And we're moving on. But not before, because I think that could actually be a fun short film video as well. Me thinking about if it is romantasy. So, romantasy, question mark. Okay, well, here we are. So yesterday we didn't... No, not yesterday. I wanted to stream yesterday, but I got an unexpected visit. So, you know, I had other things going on. But yeah, yesterday we sort of got into... Sort of got into the thicker things, didn't we? With Sanawinth. There's an H missing in Sanawinth here. Sanawinth and Carl, as the two of them are standing in the pouring rain, and Sanawinth is confronting Carl with why he didn't show up at her wedding, why they haven't spoken, I believe, in a long time. Yeah. I had a thought earlier today that I was like, okay, that needs to be put down on paper into this story. Wow, that is such a great idea. Did I write it down immediately? No, I didn't. And now it's gone. Cool. Very cool. Always write down your ideas. That's why I have this little book around scribbles of the universe, as it so beautifully is called. I hope I didn't just show you anything too revealing about this fantasy universe. You know, there's one person who is vehemently, I think, I don't know how to pronounce it, vehemently against writing things down, and that is Stephen King, the king of book writers. He said that writing stuff down is the death of creativity, and his point being Now, I don't agree, but I can see his point. His point being, if you have a really good idea, you don't have to write it down because it sticks with you, right? And that's great and all. But sometimes you got different stuff going on in your life, and if it's only the really great ideas that amounts to something, I mean, at least for me, the great ideas, they come randomly throughout everything. So yeah, randomly throughout my life. Mostly when I'm about to sleep, I feel like that's when the best ideas come popping up in my head, weirdly enough. I don't know if anyone else has like that. But you know what? Stephen King, around 6. Noting down ideas. Stephen King. Boom. Short form, 2 short form videos likely to come from our first 7 minutes of me yapping. Right. We have a probably maybe romantasy story here that we have to do. I have definitely an average size mug that is filled with water, and I'm very small. Now, where were we yesterday? So Cal has basically just opened up, and he is actually about to tell her, to reveal to her that he didn't go to her wedding and he hasn't talked to her in a long time because he's in love with her and she's married. Oh yeah, we did use like an allegory yesterday. So he's saying, you do matter, Sana, okay? Suddenly all of those things he had imagined he would say, but so far had eluded him, came rushing out. You matter more to me than anyone. I'm sorry, but you do. If I had to, I would travel to the Amber Sleep and take your place there, just for like the Amber Father did. And that's why Cal ended his sentence rather abruptly. You wouldn't go to my wedding because I wasn't dead, or maybe Union. But I think I used Union for. I think I used Union in Calamity as a way of saying marriage. Maybe wedding's just fine. Because I wasn't dead. Sanawin sounded more confused than Carl had hoped. No, you. It's why I couldn't go. I'm still in love with you, Sana. I always have been. And I think that you knew. Oh my god. I did just have dinner. So. Okay. More. And I think that you know. So where are we going with this? Are we saying like are we saying I think that you know it too. Let me just check something. You know what? The goal to leave without saying goodbye. The rain might have disguised tears. You didn't what? You didn't care. So I went to give Carl another. Of course I cared. And what hurt me the most, that you didn't have the gall to leave without saying goodbye. We had barely spoken for a year. And that was how you chose to leave things? Chose to leave things. El Cuero, welcome to the stream. Yo, how was your day? It's been alright. Thank you for asking. I'm job hunting right now, so my day has pretty much just been that. It is what it is. And I thought I'd, move on with my story here on a good Wednesday live stream. How was your day? I always have been, and I think you know it too. It's the reason why I've been avoiding. It's the reason why I've been avoiding you. For most of the year. Quavo says fine, but I'm kind of stuck on a scene. Oh, is it in your chapter 2? What's the problem? Maybe we can figure something out together. Rewarding you for most of the year. I just and then you were getting married, and then you told me. I don't remember if we in the beginning said that it was Dantlu who told her they were getting married. It makes way more sense if it was Sanawind herself who said that she was getting married and invited Carl and Gwilfane. And then you were getting and then when you told us that you were getting married, and Druid and Druid Quiglin and Dair here. Entering the amber sleep. I just now Cal was kind of happy too. Was kind of happy. Kind of no, that doesn't make any sense. I want to say he was also glad that that it was raining, so his tears didn't show. Cal didn't mind the rain too, since they disguised, that's not a D, disguised his own tears. Where were you saying, so I have this part of Gailey and Roseanne talking while they go down the library river. And the conversation has to go around the part when they talk about why Roseanne steals, and then get interrupted by a book stealer that Gailey has to catch, and fails. But I just can't wrap the three things together. Okay. So I'm guessing from what you're writing that like book stealing sounds like quite a serious crime. Libraries are important in your world. And is Roseanne also a book stealer, or is she just a thief in general? And do you have a backstory of the two of them? Like, why would they talk together? Are they childhood friends? Have they met at some sort of academy? Do they like each other? Because that feels like, from what you're writing here, it feels like probably the pain point is, why are they talking and what are they talking about? Because the interruption of the book stealer, I mean, that doesn't have to have any introduction, right? That can just be like, boom, it's happening. And then that interrupts the conversation that they are having. And then Gailey, who was like a librarian, he's sort of, I remember you mentioning him, he was quite timid. But if Roseanne, like if he wants to impress her or protect her or something, that's feelings that can overturn timidness, I guess you could say. So what did you have in mind the conversation should be about? Other than around the part like where they talk about why Roseanne steals. Okay, just say I think it's really cool that you're sharing it. I want to thanks for that. Thank you for that. It's nice to know that, you know, you're writing something along the same time that I'm writing something. And I'm not the only one who gets stuck in places. His own tears as well. Bonk. It's all just too much. Sana Wind. I feel like I really want Carl to like it's not called obey, but so Sana more or less jokingly said over here, I'm not sure you can still call me that, and he just sort of obliges that he doesn't call her that then. So we want at some point, because I want the two to reconcile by the end of their conversation. And then before another time skip, we're gonna leave at a part that where it's inferred that okay, they're spending some quality time together, just as friends again. So the book stealing is important because Durandal's library, this is of course El Cuervo's thing, Durandal's library is sort of like a universal chronicle of a lot of legal and history documents that people often rely on to do legally work and live in the city. Yeah. Yeah, that makes total sense. I think that's a cool... I love that take on a society that, you know, the library is actually the most important thing. One of the most important things, especially because the world we live in right now, libraries are more or less forgotten. And a great point was, I read on the interweb somewhere, maybe it was Reddit, that libraries, if they had been thought of today, they wouldn't work. And they wouldn't work because everything today is about short-term profit. And libraries are about preservation of knowledge and the idea that everyone should have access to the same knowledge. And that's quite a beautiful mission that no one should try to make a profit from, I think. El Cuervo says the two have a professor-student relationship, though they're just meeting. Okay. So is Roseanne stealing books as well, or is it just like a student who's thieving on the side? Actually, I'm just gonna write the library point down. I think that was an interesting conversation to have. No. Wait, this is also wrong. 06 0024 libraries. What if El Cuervo, what if Roseanne, like what if she's just stolen something and she's terrible at hiding it basically, or Gally notices it, and that can sort of be the catalyst to him discussing the stealing with her, right? Like they have a meeting for someone else and they talk about that, whatever, and then Gally notices something in her pocket or what is sticking out of her pocket, and then he asks about it, and that's sort of the catalyst to the discussion about stealing. El Cuervo says like he saw her time to time, but now she was trying to mug him, and since he doesn't like problems, Gally just gave the coin to her over her tea. Okay. Right. But that's backstory. That's some time in the past, right? And then they have this student relationship. I still think that could be and she's flabbergasted by that. Yeah, I can imagine. But that's something that happened in the past, right? That's not this meeting of theirs. But yeah, I don't know. I think it could be a good idea. Of course, I don't know your story. I don't know what you wanna tell, right? No, the professor-student thing is a goal to achieve. Okay. The Autistic Brick, hello. Welcome to the stream. We're just discussing El Cuervo de Palermo, who's also in the chat. His story that he's writing right now. Professor-student thing is a goal to achieve. So, okay, let me get this straight. So she has mocked him now. At the river, at the library river. And since he's timid and he doesn't like problems, so he just gave her his money and offered her tea. And then she's flabbergasted, and they sort of, like a wise man that takes a street rookie to train it. Yeah, I can see where you're going. Okay, that's definitely a tough one to crack. So right now they're on their way to tea in his room, or his apartment, whatever, his study. Or could that be the catalyst that you're looking for, that she is mugging him, he is timid, he's afraid, doesn't want problems. The dialogue was literally this, separated by a paragraph, okay. I mean, I think it works quite well the way you're presenting it. Just like that. If I understood it correctly, of course. Do you need anything else? This is not how mugging works. Right. I think that's pretty funny, actually, that she's flabbergasted, and it's almost like this transaction, like he's almost a vendor that's giving her stuff. And she's like, stop it, this is not how mugging works. And then he invites her to go have some tea. It reminds me of a story in Full Metal Alchemist. Have you heard about that anime or manga? Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, more specifically. There is an episode with Just see if I can find it. I don't remember her name. Oh, it's not that. Only read the first volume of the Tankobon. Okay, what's the Tankobon? Anyway, this episode 11 of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. This girl here. In this world, you can have robot arms and limbs, basically. This girl here has both her legs amputated sometime when she was a kid, and they're super expensive, these robot legs. But a mechanic took pity on her and just gave them to her. So now she has these robot legs. She steals in order to get the money back so she can repay the mechanic. But she doesn't know why he won't take her money. She just wants to repay him. I feel like that's sort of the same, it's not the same as what you're writing, El Guero, but maybe it could be, if you watch this episode, maybe it could be an inspiration to your problem. Because it's a really wholesome way they resolve that conflict. It's a really cool way they resolve that conflict. Yeah, you remember that? Yeah. Oh, the Autistic Breck said, you inspired me to start writing another horror book. Woo! Let's go, dude! I'm so happy to hear that. I'd love to hear that I inspire people. Oh my god, that's so cool. Did she steal though? Yes, that was the plot point. The mechanic didn't want to take her money because she stole it, and like she got the money from stealing and then selling the stuff. Because he wanted her to be honest. That was not why he gave her the legs. So in the end, as a resolution at the end of the episode, spoiler alert, she actually ends up getting a job, and then he starts taking her payments, and they're both happy, basically. There's other stuff going on as well. It's not the main plot, but it is the side plot of the episode. So maybe you could reread that that episode and maybe have some inspiration, because it does sound like they have the mentor-mentee sort of, where the mentee steals, is a thief, right? I'm not saying, of course, that it's gonna solve your problem, but maybe while you're looking at it with your eyes, with your story in mind, maybe then you get some new inspirations and some cool ideas flowing. All right, I'll check it and see if I get inspiration. Yeah, it was season 1, episode 11. For Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Brotherhood is important, not just Full Metal Alchemist. Cool. That's awesome. I mean, I hope it helps. And just gonna have that down here. FMA. And yes, the Autistic Brick, can I just once again say thank you so much for telling me that. That makes me so very happy. That's I mean, I have two reasons why I'm doing this. Like, one, it's for me, and I want to learn how to write fantasy, right? But the fact that I inspire you guys to actually write, that's amazing. Autistic Break, how many stories have you done now? This is the 4th. So, and it's not done, of course, but this is the 4th story. And before that, we had Fly, Yoink, and we had Danger, and Calamity. This is the 4th out of Plan 10. So, I have, of course, planned, or in my mind, I have planned for 10. One for each of the races or each of the species in this world. And it's gonna take like 2 years more before they're done. But at least 2 years more, I think, if I'm going at the same pace as I'm doing now. But it's great, it's fine. I do think though that after this, I want to get started on an actual book, maybe, and then like do the pre stuff, like the pre-planning and stuff for an actual book, and then go into the 5th short story. But we'll see when we get there. Still need to have this done. Where were we? It's all just too much, Sanawinth. Let's have her take a little bit pity on Carl here, and say you can call me. Whoops! Wow. You can call me Sana. You can call me Sana. I was just being petty. By the way, the Autistic Brick, how far are you with your new horror book? That sounds cool. Both that you started, but also that you're writing another horror book. How many have you written before? And are they all horror? I'm very interested to hear. Sana. Oh crap. There was not enough room there. Sana Winth. Interrupted. Her anger being replaced by a more that was page 106 of this here book. 107 by a more. Oh no, I didn't realize stupid camera had autofocus on. Let me just, there we go. Okay, by a more solemn voice. Let me just make sure that solemn is the right word. Maybe it wasn't. Solemn. Yeah, quiet, serious. Maybe pensive is the word I'm looking for. Pensive. You know what? Solemn is probably fine. Yeah, Titric Breaks says, wrote a whole short story collection. Ooh, that I've done all of, and then the start of 2 others. And I'm 2 lines into my new books. And yes, they are all horror. Nice. Damn, dude. You, there's a lot of books in you. A lot of stories in you. That's cool. That's awesome to hear. You sound like, well, you did like Stephen King, right? And Stephen King has just produced 1 billion books. So, you know, you sound like your favorite author. Oh, by the way, your text break said, yes, I'm a big Stephen King fan. Yeah, I remembered because you wrote that as a comment on one of my weekend posts. So that's nice. Last time I could not find the word for we talked about Elden Ring and the way they're doing its story, like this fragmented, non-linear narrative. And I could not find the word for what it was. Like when you have a bunch of different storylines that don't actually necessarily have anything to do with each other, but maybe they do anyway. And the word I was looking for was anthology. Yes, El Cuervo, Obra Prima, yeah. But it's anthology. That was the word that I couldn't think of. And let me just see if I have it here on my page. Why this is stupid? Why that's dumb is that I call this journeys, like my short story collection here is called the Journeys Anthology. So I'm using the word that I just could not think of last time. And I'm actually using that myself. It's just my brain sometimes, dude. It's just, oh my god. Yeah. Anyway. Let me just write that down actually. Next live stream. And that's around 44. Okay. Okay. So we're going with solemn voice here. Yeah, El Cuervo, I'm not saying you were wrong. I think you definitely were not wrong, and your suggestions, it was just not the word that I was trying to find, which was anthology. Okay, so Carl here is just like, he's just surrendered now and telling her everything. And I think this might actually be... So we need, of course, to be really conscious of how long this particular conversation is going right now. So it starts around here, which is 104. And so this is 3 pages of the conversation. It's not going to be 10 pages or 15 pages or however long his conversation with Danlo was, but it's a good thing to be aware of because, you know, I want to get to some action-y, I want to get to the ending, even if this part of the story is actually also important. So I want to say... So he says here, he repeats Sana. Carl didn't smile. But his eyes brightened a little. When he looked at her. It all everything just became too much. I had to get away. You still should have been at... Okay, so this was the point. I think we discussed it last time. This was a natural point of the natural point where we need a name for Sanawin's husband. There's not that much else to do than to go and make that up, is there? All right. There is some a glossary. Fae Folk glossary, and we need some. Whoops! Come on. There we are. Of course, the Fae Folk language is something that I make up myself. Breogan. You know what? That's not a bad name. Elquevo, that's definitely not a bad name. The only trouble, not trouble, but I kind of have to reverse engineer that now, because. What happened here? Oh. Where on earth did that go? Alright. There it went. And then this one here, and then this one here. So I have some naming convention here somewhere. Fae Folk naming conventions. There we have it. And I actually really like Breogan. So I have some naming conventions. When the Fae Folk are born, they are placed in a ritual until their spirit-bound animal finds them. Maybe if they find them. And then depending on the spirit-bound, they get a name that is either related to the animal or has an aspect of said animal spirit-bound. And the spirit-bound, of course, gets its name the same way. So, for example, if we take Carl and Gwilfane. Carl is a contraction of the word Cafail, which means twin. I of course have come up with that myself. So we have twin somewhere down here. Twin. It's inspired by Scottish Gaelic and Welsh. So this word here for twin is Scottish Gaelic, and this word here is Welsh. And I sort of, in this instance, I sort of just mashed them together, and then I contracted that to make the name Carl. And Gwilfane, his name Carl from Cafail, that means twin, because he looks like Gwilfane a lot. He has the same eyes, he has shaggy white hair, he has large canines, Carl. So he's sort of, they're twinning. And Gwilfane is moon fur because he has white fur, white like the moon. So you know, Breogan is a really cool word, really cool name actually, because it sounds manly and it sounds like almost bearish. But we need to reverse engineer that so it makes sense in my naming convention scheme, right? But I kind of like it. It's different. It's a different way of working. The Artistic Brick asked, how do you get your ideas and not scrap them after a bit? Honestly, I write stuff down a lot. I write a lot of stuff down. I of course take a lot of inspiration from other media or other stories, from reading or gaming or TV shows or movies. I think as long as they're a cool story or cool story elements, like I'm sure you're doing the same since you're writing a book, but just having, like, I can't look at a movie or a TV show or read a book without thinking now what they're doing and why they're doing it, right? So that's a lot of inspiration. Like I just finished The Hobbit, and his style of writing, I know that's almost 100 years old now, but his style of writing is just so strange and funny and different. But it's also very good, the way he writes stuff. Most of it. I think the ending was somehow a little bit rushed. And you know, and how do we not scrap them? I don't know. I think I think you can work with most ideas. Like, it's just about persistence. You can make most ideas good. Yeah. It's about working them. So for me, for my sake, I write or work on my writing project here at least 15 minutes every day, and I've done so for let me check, where is it? I have a habit tracker going. So this one, if you can you see it? Statistics. I've done that for 646 days now. And that's... Oh, okay, Artistic Break is leaving. Bye. Good luck with your new book, by the way. Dude, that's awesome. But yeah, work the ideas. And I find that when you are in work mode, either writing a book or a short story, I do find that more ideas pop up as you're writing. So that's sort of how I get around that. Just doing it and thinking about it. I can't stop thinking about the stories and what to do next and where to go. I'm not saying that I work hell of a lot, but I think the doing something every day is the discipline to do something every day is can be quite important in that regard. How to get ideas. Okay. So we came from this here. So we want to end up with Briogan. I think we want to end up with Briogan. I think that's a really cool name. And it sounds, it sounds Celtic as well. Fae Folk are inspired by Celtic. That's why I use Scottish Gaelic, for example, Gaelic and Welsh as inspirations. So Briogan. We're gonna write it in this. We're gonna write it in this little book here. Okay, so what I was just talking about, I had a Fae Folk idea yesterday as I was writing for 15 minutes about basically their doomsday prophecy, or like at least a changing of ages that could be inspired by the Four Horsemen. So I wrote that down. Some great nature spirits are they're the ones that signify the changing of ages in the great cycle. Universe. Fae Folk name. That's an F. Everyone can see that. So, this is Sana Wynn's husband. And that is from Want. So we want him to be called Breogan, or something along those lines. And he is a scout, so he is an Ironbark scout. Let us have a looky at animal spirits, animal symbolism. What did you write? Scout? No, that's not. There was nothing in there. Protective. There's a bear. But we already have someone as a bear. There's a boar. Boars. British Isles. Wild boar. Were native but became extinct. You know, I think that's kind of funny. That's leadership, direction. That goes great with scouting. Protection, hospitality. Okay. Yeah, we can work with that. So let's see if we go here. Let's have boar. Let's find a word for boar. Boar. Okay, you know, let's write it over here. Boar spirit bound. And boar is protective. Hospitality. What were the other things? Leadership. Direction. Lust, gluttony, fertility. Let's not. We don't necessarily need to go there. Okay, so a boar in Welsh, bite. And in Scottish Gaelish, talk. Interesting. So we need a word. We need 1 or 2 words that we can contract together to create Breogan. One or 2 words that has something to do with protective, hospitality, leadership, direction. I like the ideas of him being like a leader and knowing direction, like a. If the trait is leadership, what's the root for general? That's a very good question. But I'm also not sure if I want I'm not sure if I want the military ranks to be the same as like our military. I know we have scouts, but I feel like scout is just something very universal to everything. King. King is not bad either. But I'm gonna write them down here. General, King, just so we can work them. Chieftain is also chieftain. Could maybe be a word. That sounds very... Now, okay, there's a little bit of a trouble there with king and chieftain. Would the Fae Folk have a word for king or chieftain? Since they are being led by druids and a council of elder druids. That's the druids are both the cultural and the religious leaders. So would they have a word for a king? They would have a word for leader. I kinda... Yeah, what about counselor? Yeah, I was thinking something along those lines. I kinda wanna maybe go in the direction. But of course not that word, but you know, someone who shows the way, which is a leader. A leader. Chief, commander, someone who guides, officer, ruler, manager. Yeah, it's sort of... Do they have a word for that? Counselor? I don't know. I don't know if they would have a word for counselor. I'm thinking not. I mean, the druids in this society just does everything pretty much. Everything leader based. But I don't want them to be called like a druid or something. It's a bit weird. I think I want to go in the direction of direction. Ooh, if whoever says maybe north, so like a literally a direction, yeah, like a North Star or like a marker. That's cool. Literally a direction, yeah. So we have the cairns, the stone markers. There could also be like they show direction or show something of importance. We have shepherd here. Someone who guides. I should have done this. Not that I don't appreciate your help, Quavo. It's really nice to have help, but I just feel like it's there's so much thinking going on right here instead of doing. It would totally make sense that they would use stars for navigating the forest and knowing where they are. And, you know, we have a North Star. This world could also have a North Star. Let's go down that road. So let's start with North and Scottish North Twath. So I just wanna. I don't necessarily use the words here. They're just sort of there to the translated words, like the inspiration words. They're just sort of there to make it so I'm sure that my language has the same wording, like the same sounds, the same use of letters. For example, summer here. Summer in Scottish Gaelic is Samra, and in Welsh it's half, according to Google Translate. I might be wrong. And you know, I made that Sanath. There you have wind, Sana, and wind, summer wind. That's her name. Oh, you couldn't see. This is wind. Twath is north. North in Gaelic, in Welsh is goggled. There might be something we can use for Breogan. You know, goggled. So it would be like Star to the North. That would be his name. Star. This is fun. It's a different way of what I usually do. Like I have to fit some. I'm reverse engineering my own, my own language. Star. Rionak. And here we have Star. Siren. Oh, that's kind of beautiful though. Siren. Oops. I was just thinking this can actually work quite well, because like having Sonarman's husband have a boar spirit bound, and that's the direction and the North Star, and like have the North Star be part of a star sign. I guess, but because the next short story after Wand is about centaurs, and centaurs are star worshippers. So they go do a lot of star signs and stargazing and stuff. And one of their star signs is also a boar. I'm sort of working on that in the background. Aquarius says, "Welcome to my everyday. My writing is this constant stream of conscience at 200 miles per hour. If I did this in paper like you can, I might drown 3 cadavers." True. But you know, there's just something really nice about putting it down on paper and then digitizing it. But yeah, I'm happy to be here in your everyday life, man. Okay, it's Briogan. So I feel like we have 2 options. We could be Bre of 1 word and Organ of another, or Breo and Gan. I quite like this one. So 1 word, 1 would be north. Of course it's contracted, but and then star, or the other way around. Or if we're thinking star signs, instead of north, it could be literal the boar star. So this could be boar and then star, or star and then boar. I feel like star needs to be there. So star needs to have a Gan somehow. Either before or after. Let's just do it like this. Or after, like this. And then boar, because then instead of having it, well, then it would only work, there would only be the direction when that boar star sign would be on the night sky, right? But it could be like Breok. Breok. Or we could Breok. And then Star. Star. Star is also a word that I feel I really wanted to sound quite beautiful. Like, it's just one of those words that let's just we're not settled on this. But like star, it's difficult to say what I mean, but you know what, there's just like a word that sounds beautiful, like siren. I think that sounds very beautiful, especially when you know it's star. Like quite tranquil. Could be like Ganurin. That doesn't sound very pretty though, does it? But that would make it Breok and Gan. We're smashing, we're contracting two words together, contracting Borstar together. But you know, it also, if you say boar star or star of the boar, we don't. It doesn't need to be the direction. His background, he's not gonna be a big character, right? But his background could be like, he was born under the boar star sign, and then his spirit bound turned out to be a boar, so it made sense to call him Borstar. But I mean, it's just, and I know he's not an important character, but I think having thought about these kinds of things is what makes the world worthwhile, right? It's what makes the world interesting and seem big, that there are naming conventions and backstories and languages. You know, we could have called him Breogan and just said that's his name. It doesn't mean anything, but it could have, like, but that's not how the world works, right? Names have meanings. Names come from something, and then have evolved over time. That's why I'm doing this, because I think it's so important to have stuff like this, even if it takes a long time. We could say Siogan. Now I am really just combining these. Sioran. Sioragan. Sioragan. Oh, Breogan is actually a word in Gaelic. It's better to convert. You know what? Okay. Well, it's a very good name. That's why it sounds like... That's why I thought it sounded like Gaelic or Celtic, because it was actually Gaelic or Celtic. But you know, okay, I find that quite fun as well, that, okay, this is an actual word in an actual real world language, Gaelic. But here it means something else, in a language that is inspired by Gaelic, among other things. I quite like the breog for boar, actually. What if it was... Oregon? Oregon? See, I don't think Oregon or Ganioren sounds very beautiful. Siora doesn't somehow sound Gaelic enough. But the gun is important. Gun is important. Because that's what we're going to use to contract the... to find Breogan. Say that again. Ganera. Ganea. Siukan. Not slogan, Siukan. I also do this quite a lot when I make language. I haven't really gotten into syntax yet, and I'm not sure I ever will. But I feel like when I'm doing like this base language, I often do this where I just plot words down and I'm sort of, I work my way to something that sounds cool, something that sounds like a word. Or just Ganyor. It's like with boar up here. Sometimes I like to maintain the first letter. Reorg. Like, I'm not doing it all the time, but like I also did it here with summer, with wind, wisdom, wolf. Sigan. Could also be it. Could also just be Sigan. Maybe we just need to pick one now. I think I am just ready to pick one. Because his name would then be a contraction of Breok and you know what, Sagan, the last thing, I mean, it's not beautiful, but I kind of like its simplicity. So we would be like this Sagan. And Breok Sagan, and that gets contracted to Breorgan. And we say thank you very much for that suggestion, El Cuervo. I am very happy and lucky to have you follow along. So he was called Breogan with an accent over the O, just so we don't hit. Breogan name. That's a short form video. It's gonna require a lot of editing if we need to get that into short form format. I don't know, how long did that take? 20 minutes? Something like that? Okay. Add me and right back into it. I'm not really sure when I'll stop today, but I don't think it's gonna be a whole lot more than 2 hours. Definitely not more than 2.5 hours. So So let's see how far we can go. My biggest problem is also that I'm in England next Monday and Tuesday. So I definitely won't have time for any writing, live streaming until Wednesday at the earliest. Me and... So she would, of course... She would call him Breo. You should still have been at me and Breo's wedding. Sanna Winth said... Apparently I keep forgetting ages in Sanawinth. I needed my oldest friend to be there. I really did. I really did. Okay, so he has already confessed his love for her, Carl. But I feel like I want to use his confession to dig a little deeper into their relationship. So Sanawinth just said they were the oldest friends. But I don't want it to be a conversation about like memories, I think. Because then we are falling very much into calamity. My first short story, the calamity territory, where they are. I'm using their memories to talk about the culture of the dwarves, right? The religion of the dwarves. And I don't want to do that. Here, of course, this is its own story. It's supposed to be its own story. But yeah, like I said, like I want to use this confession here to dig deeper into the history together. And it's gonna get sappy. It's gonna get romantasy. Sad romantasy. But that's the way of things. That's a drama. So they had the first kiss together. They've always been friends. I also had I have Sanawin's background written down, but I think I want to change it up a bit. Like, let me show you guys. So one background, Sanawin. So it says here, grew up neighboring Kyle's parents. Kyle's parents to a similar stable home. His father is scout patrolling the forest of the Realm Oak, and her mother tending their own mushroom farm. I think I want to change that up to her just having her father. For reasons unknown. Who? Yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that right now. Neighboring Kyle's parents. I'm not gonna say it was an unstable home, but I'm not gonna mention that at all. I don't know why I've taken that in my mouth. Her father, a former scout patrolling the forest of the Realm Oak. Now tending his own mushroom farm. Sanawin never knew her mother, and her father never spoke of her in details. A little bit of mystery there. So 144. Changing character background. I don't know. I just feel like that's better. Before becoming a scout, Sanawin was also like a troublemaker, getting Carl into trouble. But I don't, and that makes sense if, you know, she's craving attention. Yes, that makes total sense, but I'm not sure I wanna dig too much into that. So we need Carl here to get Sobby, I really would like if we could finish all of page 107. It's just a nice ending, but I don't. It's a lot of writing that needs to be done in order to get there, especially when I keep stopping myself, distracting myself. I was just looking at this. I'm not really sure what my green screen is capturing because it's really just yellow and not green. Oh well. It was selfish. 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 I have no excuse. Carl admitted. There was no point in going. There was no point. There was no point in going back. No point going back now. Yeah, that could, yeah. Might as well confess. You might as well confess everything. Unrequited, is that a word? Unrequited. It is actually unrequited. To his. Okay, I'm not sure if it makes sense here. That's not an unrequited love. I don't know if this makes sense. Let's comment it. Makes sense? Question mark? Makes sense. I don't even know if future Thomas is gonna be like, what on earth was I smoking when I tried to make that comment? But it was the only room there was. But I need you to know that every time I saw you and did I really just try to go under my comment here? I saw you and Breogan, not Breogan together. Even when you weren't. It felt like dying. Over and over again. 1,000 times. I completely lost my train of thought. Damn it. Okay, so I want Carl to talk about his jealousy, and that he's tried to work it out, but he couldn't. And I want him to say, like, I've always loved you. Even back when you and your father visited us for dinner. So having you not feel the same, it's the jealousies. It's too much to handle. And then I want to get into the fact that Sanawind has like the first time he asked her to be his girlfriend, she rejected him. So I want Carl to still be a good guy, albeit kind of selfish, if those two can reconcile. I think that can be a good, not a conversation ender, but from there, once Carl has admitted everything, we can sort of go over the next phase of acceptance. You can go to the next phase of acceptance. How do we word this? How do we word this? Come on. Okay. I don't think you know just how long that I've been in love with you. Love with you. It goes back longer than our first kiss. Before I my memories of you and your dad, your dad, bringing fresh mushrooms, freshly harvested mushroom. Pacha. Harvested mushrooms. For dinner. At me. No. With my family, with my parents and I. I think it even goes back to before I knew what love was. Whoa. What love was. I just made a little reference to Weeble stuff, and I think that might be a fun short form video. Weeble stuff ref mushroom. Oh, memes before the memes. I was just looking at where we started. We started here. So we almost made a. We've almost made a page. Carl was almost out of breath. From his confessions. And yet he kept going. Through all the trouble you ever got me in, all the trouble that you ever got me in, I was just happy to be with you, to be around you. Even back when you rejected my advances, I still had this hope. Deep within me, that we would somehow end up together. Somehow end up together. But Carl, not comma there. Salawind managed to say, I'm married now. It's not gonna. And Carl interrupts here. He doesn't need to know her. He doesn't need to hear her say that it's never gonna happen. He just wants to. He wants her to know that he knows it's never gonna happen, and that's his problem. I know that. I know that, Sana. Carl answered before she could finish her sentence. Answered before she could finish her sentence. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. I know that we will never be. We will never. I have a phrasing for this. Okay, I want you to know and I need you to know that I've worked on accepting it. Damn it. Damn it. Accepting. I really have. It's just been so difficult. But you never were. And you never will be mine. I feel like this paragraph needs some work. Hey, I caught myself missing a word randomly in a sentence. Wow, okay, that was in the wrong spot. The U is supposed to be here. Worked is missing up here. I love you so much. I just love you so much. You know, we're actually close to getting page 107 done. It's not too bad for this sesh. Maybe we just say here, so I chose the last resort. That I could think of. I needed to get away. Even if it meant leaving. The realm tree. The realm oak all together. All together. It sounds drastic. It sounds drastic. Is that too explicit? It might be too explicit. It is too explicit. I'm gonna remove it. Ta-ta-ta. And no one can ever see. Oh, look, nothing was written there. Dot dot and end of sentence. So Sanawind here says, I didn't know it was that bad. I mean, I knew about your feelings. I partly joined the Ironbarks. The Ironbark Scouts. Because of them. But what do you mean? Carl asked. Hey, will you look at that? I think we're gonna do it. We're gonna get to page 108. That was actually almost an entire page in like half an hour or so. That was fast. I feel like that was really fast. Okay, but still, let's get it done. And then I'm probably gonna end the live stream there. Yeah. This is of course a question mark. Oh god, I don't know how to make question marks. There we go. After you ask me that, I couldn't I knew that I would never feel the same. And so there we are. The page is done, page 107. So today has not been a total bust. I actually haven't. It's been a great day, great live stream. Great talking to you guys. Discussing, writing with you. And figuring out names and stuff. So Cal felt that all too familiar feeling in his heart. And stomach as Sana went. Said those words. Even if his brain knew they were coming. And then Sanawen says something. Sanawen says, after you asked that, I knew that I would never feel the same. So I promised myself actually Sanawind removed that from here and said she Sanawind continued after a small pow. El Cuervo, welcome back to the stream. Said, I just bought it a burger the size of a volleyball. Where were we at? Well, first, congratulations on that. I'm sure that was quite the feat. I was actually just about to close the stream down. Carl here has confessed his feelings and told her why he selfishly just couldn't attend her wedding. And we had a little bit of backstory here. We got to, in this paragraph, we got to go over a little bit of like how long they had known each other and their families, and it was actually I'm quite happy with this paragraph, these paragraphs here. And yeah, Sanawind is about to tell him why she joined the Scouts, which was to get away from him, so he hopefully could find someone else, which didn't happen. But I am going to leave it there. My brain is mush, even if we did manage to wrote almost an entire page in half an hour, which I'm very proud of. But yeah, that was it. I do thank you so much for being in the chat and chatting with me and telling me about your writing as well. That was so cool. And to everyone else that might see this in VOD form, I hope you liked it. If you did, please remember to like it and even subscribe to me. And I will see you next week, next Wednesday. So in a week. And just remember that we write our own stories. All right. Have a good night. Bye.